Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder. Today we're diving into a report from Tractor Supply Company, and no, it's not about tractors running out of gas, it's about votes, compensation and some legal changes. Let's see if this company is ploughing ahead or stuck in the mud. Before we get started, if you're into getting the real deal from corporate documents, make sure to subscribe. And hey, we've got a Discord community linked below, come join the conversation. Alright, let's jump right in. This report is an 8K filing, which companies use to announce major events. In this case, Tractor Supply is telling us about their annual meeting of stockholders, which happened in May. At this meeting, people who own stock in the company got to vote on important stuff like who gets to be on the board of directors. They also voted on whether to keep the same accounting firm and how much the top executives should get paid, and a legal change. Let's talk about the election of directors, basically, picking the people who will be in charge. Stockholders voted for each of the company's nominees, including Joy Brown, Andre Hawo, and Edna K. Morris, just to name a few. The people elected will serve until the next annual meeting, so for about another year. Looking at Joy Brown, she received roughly 430 million votes against and around 720,000 abstentions. These numbers show a strong endorsement from the shareholders for the people nominated. Next up, the stockholders voted to keep Ernst & Young LL as the company's independent accounting firm for the year. This is pretty standard. Companies need an outside firm to check their books and make sure everything is accurate. And wow, over 460, but it is important to have different perspectives. So it's good that at least 22 million voted against, around 670,000 abstained. It is a very overwhelming approval. Keeping the same accounting firm helps ensure consistency, but it is important to have different perspectives, so it's good that at least 22 million voted against. Now let's move on to something that always gets people talking: executive pay. The stockholders had an advisory vote on how much the top executives get paid. It's non-binding, which means the company doesn't have to listen, but it's a good way to gauge what the owners of the company think. In this vote, over 403 freehand votes, 30 million against votes are worth noting. That's a pretty sizable chunk of shareholders who aren't thrilled with the current pay packages. It will be interesting to see if this affects future compensation decisions. Finally, the stockholders voted on a change to the company's legal documents. They approved an amendment to Tractor Supply's restated certificate of incorporation. This change allows the company to protect its officers from certain kinds of lawsuits, as permitted by Delaware law. Basically, if an officer makes an honest mistake, they might be shielded from personal liability. Over 385 million votes were in favour, about 48.6 million against, and around 98,000 abstained. This change gives officers a bit more protection, which could encourage them to take calculated risks, but some investors might worry that it could lead to less accountability. Gestage million against and around 58,000 abstained. This change gives officers a bit more protection, which could encourage them to take calculated risks, but some investors might worry that it could lead to less accountability. Destiny now, let's zoom out and look at what this all means. Tractor Supply Company seems to have a solid base of support from its shareholders. The election of directors was pretty smooth, and most people seem okay with the executive pay, even though there was a notable group against it. The change in the legal documents gives officers more protection, which could be a good or bad thing depending on how you look at it. One potential area of concern is that executive pay. Those 30 million against votes could signal some unhappiness among shareholders. Companies need to keep an eye on this kind of feedback and make sure they're balancing executive compensation with the interests of their investors. Overall, Tractor Supply appears to be sailing along smoothly. But like any good captain, they need to keep watching the horizon for potential storms. Alright, that's our breakdown of Tractor Supply's latest report. What are your thoughts on these votes and the company's direction? Drop your comments below. If you found this helpful, hit that like button and make sure you're subscribed for more corporate insights. Don't forget to join our Discord community in the description. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you in the next video.